In Pirkei Avot, Yossi ben Yochanan, Yossi the son of Rabbi Yochanan, made the following comment. He said, "Let your house be open." And it's a beautiful statement that everybody's house should be open to strangers, to people in need, to people who are friendless, bereft. But I'm going to suggest that perhaps that phrase means something other. Maybe it means not let your physical house be open, but let your spiritual house be open. In other words, let your mind and your eyes be open to the universe, to possibilities, to things that otherwise you're not predisposed to see, because we all have prejudices. We all have made up our mind about certain things even before we've seen the full extent of what there is to witness. So many times we're closed. We are not an open house. We have our doors and our windows fastened shut, impervious to influences from the outside. This week's Torah reading, which is called Shlach Lecha, has two different resonances. Shlach Lecha, of course, refers to when Moses tells the people, all right, go and send out for yourselves, satisfy your own minds what is in the land. And they send out spies, meraglim, to scout out the promised land, that which God had gifted to them orally, and they knew they were going to achieve. But the people, when they heard the report of the spies, when they heard that there were giants that inhabited the land, when they heard that they were grasshoppers in the eyes of the inhabitants of the land, they became terrified. But the whole thing was predisposed. The event was a predetermined event. That which the spies saw and reported to the people was already determined, because the spies went out with an attitude that we're never going to be able to take the land anyway. The population is going to be too fierce. They'll overtake us. And the people, so ready to hear the report of the spies, fell right into it. Contrast that to many generations later, when Joshua was about to enter the land. He sent spies in. The spies there, however, were only two. And those spies came back with an absolute report, in surety, knowing that the land was inhabitable, it was theirs, because the promise of God to Abraham was going to be fulfilled. Their eyes were open to perceive whatever there was. They weren't prejudiced or frightened by what the imagination of the mind would give over to them, but rather their house was open. And contrast that too to the earliest episode in the book of Genesis, where Abraham is told by God, Shlach Lecha, go out for yourself, leave this land that you inhabit, your ancestral homeland, and go to a place that I'm going to show you. You'll know it when you get there. In that instance too, Abraham was an open house, willing to see whatever it was that God had for him, and with great excitement and hope in his heart, he went forward. The message of these three stories is powerful and compelling, and is meant to enter the heart of every reader, of every Jew who looks at this Torah portion. Life is as we apprehend it. And the way that we apprehend life is the way that we are willing to view it, to be open to possibilities or to be closed because we've already made up our mind about them. Here's looking to an open-heartedness and open-mindedness as we embrace this holy Shabbat.